Well, hello there. Welcome to this -5 degrees Saturday morning. Speculation warning. A lot of people have messaged me. They've emailed me, messaged me, that's been in the comments. What do you think happened? What do you think happened? Based on what we know, come on, what do you think happened on this night in Moscow, Idaho? And I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what I think happened and back it up, I suppose, with why I think that way. But let me just point out once again, this is speculation. This by no means, it's not me being right. This is just me spitballing with you. You know, sitting here like we're round a campfire. We're talking about this and what we think. I believe that the killer has entered in through the sliding door. I believe this. Now, the question is whether the sliding door was unlocked and the killer knew that the door was unlocked. Now, this goes off in two tangents here. This can either mean that the person has come in through that door and then on that level they have Ethan and Xana on there. But I don't think the killer killed Ethan and Xana first. I think they've crept in through the sliding door because I think that was either unlocked or they'd just lifted it out of position. They were familiar with how to get in there. And I then think they have gone upstairs to where Maddie was with Kaylee. And I think that the first two to be killed were, in fact, the girls upstairs. I've thought that all the way along, and I believe that. Now, whether it's because one of them two girls was the main target, the killer knew where they were in the house, they knew how to get to them. We've heard about the horrendous injuries and how they differed to others, but that can be explained, and we'll move on to why that can be explained. So the person has done that. They've come in, they've gone upstairs and done what they did upstairs. I think there's a potential that this did indeed make a noise. Now, you've got to think there was two, unless this person was with someone else, then it would have been very, very hard to have done what they did without one of the victims making a noise. Unless what we're saying is that the horrendous injuries were where one of them had to be dispatched, if you like, almost instantaneously to then go to the next one. But, you know, this frenzied attack upstairs would have been kind of go hand in hand with the fact that they'd have been found asleep and they needed to be quick. But maybe one of them had woken up, had roused, was a little bit stronger than what the killer anticipated, and that's why the attack was a lot more ferocious on that individual, which then causes noise downstairs. I would imagine there's a possibility that Ethan has come out. We've heard that there's a potential for him to have been found outside the room in the doorway, and I think the killer has gone downstairs. They've come across Ethan. They've attacked Ethan. There was a report that stated, I can't remember whether it was Kaylee's father who had said that there was a one hell of a fight. They'd put up a fight to survive. And I wonder whether that was indeed Ethan, the defensive wounds, and the killer has then had no choice because he's in the doorway of the room to then go into the room and murder Xana. Now, the questions come as to why then go down and out the front door if the front door was indeed left open. Now, people then question, why was there not blood or anything outside the front door? And this is my theory. I don't think the killer went out of the front door. I don't think the killer went out of the front door at all. I think the killer stayed on the middle level because I think if this was about killing everyone in that house, I think that there was a familiarity to it. I think that the fact that they've gone into that specific house through that specific door, gone up the stairs, then come back down the stairs, there would have been no reason for them to go down. They wouldn't, unless they were 100% familiar with that property, they wouldn't have known what they could have walked into by going downstairs. If they already think they've roused people on the middle floor and they've had to kill again, and that was something that they hadn't intended to do, then why would they then risk going further into the house and meeting more people? There could have been 4 people, there could have been 5 people, and they could have been overcome. So I think that they would have gone back out of the sliding door. So then why is the downstairs door left open? Now, I think that the surviving roommates opened that door. Now, I don't know how they're involved, and I'm not saying that they are involved, but I find it incredibly difficult to believe that the people downstairs didn't even hear anything, especially when we have, like, I've been sent pictures that show Dylan on Instagram posting pictures of Kaylee. Now, the timestamp on the pictures says 2:33 a.m. Someone has said that they've disputed that and said it was actually around 1:33 a.m. So I don't know what the difference is on the time stamp, and maybe some of you can clear that up. And, you know, as far as I'm aware, if a photo's pinged up and there's a timestamp on it, that's the time it was uploaded, but I'm not 100% sure. But what we're saying is that our initial response to that was that they were so drunk, they were passed out, stone cold, dead to the world, could have lived through anything, slept through anything. Well, lived through anything. Fitting. But I believe they opened the front door. And I believe they opened the front door. I think they knew what happened. Whether they heard, but I believe they knew something had happened in that house. And I think that they opened the front door in the hope that somebody else would stumble across what had happened and raise the alarm. Because I think that they understood that by them raising the alarm themselves and being the sole survivors in what is a mass murder, that the alarm bells would have been raised, and perhaps they didn't know how to do it. Now, I think what happened is nobody went in that door. That door just sat there and sat there and sat there, and nobody took any notice of it. And in the end, these 2 surviving members of the house then had to make a decision on how to raise the alarm. There's been other comments that they had rung other people, they'd rung friends before the 911 call was made. So that, again, goes hand in hand with they hadn't just woken up, walked out of the room and stumbled across what they did. And I don't believe that the killer would have gone downstairs and opened the door in a hurry, in a rush, to go out. That makes no sense. If they were in a rush, if they were in a hurry, there've been more external evidence. So the fact that there was none, there was no blood outside, there was nothing at all, leads me to believe that the killer at least had time in that house. They'd come in, gone upstairs, done. Aroused, well, not roused, the people downstairs, come back down, done what he did down there, and then he's taken his clothes off or put extra clothes on over the top, the gloves bagged up what he's needed in the bag, and got out of that house. This would have been prepared methodically. But it is about the remaining people in that house. The front door, why it was open, who opened it. And that's my theory. My theory is that this was someone who was known to these. They were familiar with at least the house and the layout of the house. And I believe the targets were, one of the targets or both, were the girls upstairs. They only had to come down because of rousing Ethan. That signed the fate of those underneath. And I believe the killer then had time to clean up and exit through the slider. Who opened the front door? Why was it opened? And then later on, why this pandemonium around the 911 call? Let me know what you think. What's your theory on what happened? Email me, message down below. Don't forget to smash that like button, or I'll smash you. Take care.